Good morning and a warm welcome to this week's edition of The Dialogue on Soul TV. My name is Prince Apollo. It is that time we reflect on major events of the week, and the panel is set to take you through those major events. A lot happened. It's a political season, and politicians as well as political parties and formations are very busy doing politics, hoping to participate and capitalize on the 2026 general elections, which is just less than a year to go. And we'll be deeply reflecting on the issues that stood out during the week, especially during the nomination process. And in the studios this morning, Richard Baguma Tinkasimire, a veteran journalist, but also a political commentator, has joined me for this big show. We really appreciate the audience, the comments, the observations, and later in the program, we'll be inviting you to participate in the discussion. We've been also joined by Augustine Atuko, an aspiring member of parliament who is now a duly nominated member of the NRM, ready to participate in the party primaries. But we hope also to be joined by Barnabas Tinkasimire, Honorable Member of Parliament for Buyaga West. Welcome to the show, and let's kick off the big debate. Richard Baguma, Maurice, honored and privileged to have you on this show. Speak to our viewers and we kick off the big debate.
I thank you, Apollo, and the management for giving me the opportunity to be a resident panelist. It's an honor I don't take for granted. But even more, I thank God, much higher than I thank you people, for giving me the breath, the head, the voice, and the ability to come every Saturday to share my perspectives. The audience, our audience, the people who watch us, the ones who listen to us because of the radio connectivity we have, and the feedback they give us, I thank them very much. And I've met my brother here. He's one of those who are on my list. So when I go begging, I have to get some little balance to share with them. Maybe I can contribute to a poster or two. And of course, I'm excited that he's in the race again. Yes.
Thank you so much, Richard. And it's my pleasure to introduce Augustine Otuke, an MP hopeful for Ngariram County. Happy to have you on the show this morning.
Thank you very much, Comrade Apollo. It's a pleasure being here one more time. I think among the first shows that I used to go for on radio was actually for Apollo. I think it was around 2012. He was a very tiny man. And I want to thank God that we have kept the friendship all these years, almost 13 years, much later. And I want to say we thank God for the journey that we have walked. We thank God for the life he has given us. And I also want to say that it's a pleasure meeting Baguma. We always meet in other forums. If there is somebody I love following, his analysis, his perspective about the politics of this country is one of them.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, Augustine, what I did not tell our viewers is a private secretary for President Yoweri Museveni.
Yes.
Yes. Welcome to the big show, and we will discuss the general state of politics in Uganda as we head into the 2026 elections. The nominations are still ongoing, and but we had elections for the youth committees at village level, and pockets of violence were also reported, and all those feed into what we must expect the debate as we gear up for the 2026 elections. But during the internal party nominations for the National Resistance Movement, the highlights we can pick on is the debate actually that has kicked off about the aging leaders of Africa, relating to actually the picture that stood out is the nomination of General Moses Ali for the Adjumani West constituency, visibly frail, and he was nominated sitting in his car. He could not step out to receive his nomination forms, and it is a picture that has been making rounds, and the story that has been in the public fora. I'll quickly want to pick a comment from you gentlemen in the studios. Is it really worth it? Is it an issue that should be a matter of debate at this point in time? Should we be discussing the aging leaders of Africa or not? Let me start with you, Richard.
I think it's in my local language where they say that when you climb a tree without covering your bottom, then of course the people down will see it. That's one. Two, when you put yourself out for public office,
Yeah, true.
then you would rightly expect scrutiny.
Yeah, true.
So yes, if it affects our governance, we should talk about it. I think so.
Does it?
So that's one. Yes, if as long as it affects our governance. So if you have somebody going to parliament, then they are legislating for you. So whatever legislation they do may affect you. You know, so it's important that you discuss who goes to your parliament. I think that's in the public realm. And it's public information once you go out. So I don't think there is anything out of untoward to discuss that Otuke wants. He hasn't been nominated, and therefore we shall examine him. Is his certificate from his secondary school genuine, or he forged it? Yeah, did Otuke steal money as a presidential assistant? They may have given him money for Myoga to take to the young people. We shall examine you. Yeah, because you have put yourself up there, and there is a Kajejena, there is a sieve, there is a Kasengeja, and the public must. So that's one. The second one is we're discussing your condition and your health.
Yeah.
So the thin line between privacy and public discourse and somebody's privacy. It's a difficult line. It's even more difficult now with the technology that we have, with the communication technology. So that's one on one side. The second thing is how the media frames it. Because we have the social media, which is unregulated. Then there is where the mainstream media has also framed. So we have to examine, have they been ethical? Have they been professional? You know, that's another debate, I think, the framing of this that we should do. And then third for me is the context in which this happens. We find ourselves, because 3/4 of us in this population are young, we find that we have hostile ageism to the older people. There is general hostility, hostile ageism against the people who are older. They are supposed to be useless. They are supposed to be out of here. They have stayed too long. They are not supposed to eat our food. They are eating our food for what? They are taking our medicine. They should be dead. You get a feel that this population
isn't that too harsh? Because I read a post from General David Sejusa castigating the critics of General Moses Ali and actually Honorable Rebecca Kadaga. Those who actually, Rebecca Kadaga is not being castigated for being older for to participate but we know her condition. It's a health condition. But at least General Ali is 86 years, around there.
Only.
Yeah, around 86 years. And General Sejusa was making a case that this is not African. Much as we may have an issue, we may have a reason to speak about their age or their health conditions. It's not African to disparage them for expressing themselves or expressing their interest to compete in a democratic space.
I have been careful, Apollo, not to put my own thoughts. Yeah, I will conclude with what I think. As of now, I have just been trying to say what I analyze are the issues around this debate. So I think one of them is hostile ageism towards the older people. I think you sense it generally, particularly online. So I was telling my other colleagues yesterday on another platform, I usually, when we come to discuss as media analysts or media issues, I am the oldest in the room because the media is very brutal. It throws you out. It's like sports. It throws you out very quickly when you are young. So Apollo should be preparing for the brutality of the media. They will start questioning why you have a gray hair beard because they are all tiny, young, So that's one. Then there is this sense when you are youthful, and I keep telling people that we all started out when we were youth.
Yep.
There is this sense of entitlement by age-based entitlement. That because I am a young person, you owe me this or owe me that. Maybe you are owed something, but also for you, you should go out for it. I was saying, for example, if we are the majority, 75% or whatever it is, why do we want affirmative action then? We should just go with our numbers and make a decision. We should decide with our numbers. We have the numbers. Why are we waiting to be given by those ones outside our numbers? So that's the other one. The other thing is, remember that your opponents will also use this to bring you down. So we don't know who is paying which bot. Because you can pay and have 100, even 1,000 bot accounts from the same source, distributing the same content. I'm a communicator. I have studied digital communication. This is what we do. So you can think it's a popular among the people. But you have both accounts distributing this. So we have to think about all this. But for me, Apollo, I was with people who one says I'm a lawyer and a human rights defender. The other one is, if you are a human rights defender, if you are a Democrat, how does democracy say you decide? What are the rules of the game? There are two windows you can do this, in my view. One is the legal one. Go to the court to declare this person unfit. It is legally provided for. The second one is go to the ballot and defeat them. Convince the voters that this person is unfit. Otherwise, you would be going into the realm which you are criticizing. Criticizing, you would be going against somebody's rights. You would be going against the democratic principles and practices. So,
generally, you're saying this debate is unnecessary.
No, this debate is necessary, and it is genuine, and it is timely, and it has to happen because we are in a democratic dispensation.
Thank you.
I am saying the way it is framed is autocratic, it is immoral, and it is against rights.
All right. If my producer can get a picture of General Moses Ali being nominated on the window of his vehicle, we will want to see it. And Augustine, if you can tell us what is your what came to your mind, or what comes to your mind looking at a leader who has served served his people and his country for all this time, but again looking at how he's being disparaged and torn apart, and his legacy torn apart on social media and elsewhere because of perhaps age or ill health.
Well, thank you very much. I took quite an interesting bit of time to interact with people in West Nile. When General Moses Hali was nominated, we were in West Nile with a team of people who are campaigning with my colleague David Calvin Echodu, who is campaigning for National Vice Chairperson Eastern. And on Monday, we were actually meeting people from the Madi community. And what was very outstanding in the meetings that we had was the fact that the people were directing us as young people who had gone to present a candidate for SEC, that we are okay with the young people coming on board, but spare for us 2 old men.
Oh.
The first old man that they requested us to spare was His Excellency Kaguta Museveni. Then the second in their list was General Moses Ali. It was quite interesting.
That is the Madi community?
That is the Madi community in Moyo, in one of our meetings in Moyo. And when you examine why Moses Ali is very critical in that community, or West Nile in general, it's about his historical contribution. Just recently, government started paying the West Nile Bankfront veterans. And this has been the dream of Moses Ali. And very many families.
Those were his rebels.
These were his rebels. This was his army.
Yeah, his army.
That was his army. That was eventually co-opted under the broad-based approach of NRM. I think in around 1985 or something like that, where Museveni was able to reach out and they agreed to fight together because they had a common enemy. So Moses Ali is not just a symbol of what West Nile is. When Moses Ali says he's still the cock of West Nile, people do not understand.
That's what he says.
Yes, he is. And I think he still remains. He still remains a very critical element of the West Nile history. And he was one of those that really stood out.
I think that's the video.
Yes.
The NRM Electoral Commission chairperson nominating General Moses Ali to compete in the internal processes of NRM that will lead him to the race for the Adjumani West constituency next year in 2026. And like we said, the old man was not able to step out of his vehicle.
Yes.
And he had to be nominated from his vehicle.
Yes.
And that sparked off this discussion now.
Well, I think on the issue of nomination from his vehicle, I think we must really appreciate 2 things. Does it mean that when you are sick, you do not have your democratic rights? We have in this country MPs who are PWDs, who represent people with disabilities. Moses Ali, having been hit by a stroke that all of us know, and he was hit twice, may not be in the right physical health to be able to step out of the car. What we should only examine is whether he's in the right state of mind, as the law says. And I think that's what we should be able to debate as a country, but not that he was unable to come out of the car. Because being unable to come out of the car does not deprive you as a candidate or as an aspirant from your right to participate in any democratic process. And I think that is what the young people out there should be able to appreciate. But I also want to say that there is a lot of apathy and too much anxiousness, even within NRM, for new people to come into the political space. Sure. When you look at those who have stayed long in the positions, for maybe in SEC or Parliament, you realize that a majority of young people have emerged and they think they should be able to take that space. The only person that everybody, either for fear or for love, is unable to come out to challenge is the national chairman. But whoever is below the national chairman is actually facing a lot of pressure from a certain class of young people who are saying, no, we want to come and take that space within NRM. When you look at how many young people are contesting with the Honorable Chris Barimosi, you actually realize that this is what is happening. Even in the East, when you look at how many young people have come up to contest with Captain Mike Mukula, you'll be able to appreciate this. So I think the reality of the matter is that there is some kind of hunger for change within the NRM. And this is where these kind of conversations are sparked out from. But of course, we cannot rule out malice because, as Comrade Richard was saying, that we may not know where these conversations, the negativity is coming from. But I think objectively, Moses Ali has his democratic right. Is as long as he's in his right state of mind, is free to contest for any position in this country. What we can only debate is about his right state of mind.
All right, I think that is that is also under contestation now. It's an issue that was raised by an intention to petition court from one lawyer and novelist, Kakwenza Ruchirabashaija. It looks like he has already drafted a petition to court, challenging the cognitive capabilities of General Moses Ali, and it's a constitutional matter relating to Article 80, sub Article 2, where a person contesting or intending to contest for a political elective office can be disqualified on account of having a sound mind. And from your question, before I go back to Richard, you agree that it is timely, the debate about how the young leaders can now also be allowed this democratic space is timely. The aging leaders perhaps to start giving way. I don't know.
For me, I think it is actually not timely because for some time I've been one of those who is saying that the young people are no longer a special interest group. Because if we are the majority voters, why must we continue having youth MPs in parliament? If we are majority leaders, why must we have National Youth Council? These are debates that should have actually come much maybe in 2020 when the numbers of young people in terms of
if you feel you're energetic,
then
go
you
and contest against Moses Ali, trounce him,
exactly. When you look at
throw him out of parliament.
When you look at the UBO statistics, the old people between the age of 60 and above are not more than 2.5 million. And we are a country of about 45 million people, according to UBO statistics. So in other words, the old people are actually the minority.
Yeah, true.
And we should be able to have a special arrangement to protect the old people as a country because
they also they fall under, they have their affirmative action.
Exactly. I mean, but the question of the young people should now be erased because this is their country. So why should they be treated as special interest anymore? Anyway, the point is that the debate is healthy. We must have a debate as a country on whether the old people should continue, depending on how they are physically and mentally. That debate is very healthy for a country. However, what we must avoid is a situation where the young people would want to erase the old without understanding the challenges that the old people are facing. And the challenges that the young people are facing are very, very serious. And we must avoid that. And I think that is the the historical perspective of this country. So that is the only debate that we should be able to avoid. But the debate is very helpful.
All right, this is the Dialogue on Salt TV. My name is Prince Apollo. I invite you to participate in the discussion. Send in your comments and observations. We've picked on the highlights in the ongoing internal party activities, especially the expression of interest for certain positions of leadership, but also nominations that are going on within different political parties, not only NRM, but specifically the debate now that is raging over the age or the aging leaders who seem not to be ready to cede power now, and the youth, the young people, are agitating for that space. And Richard, there is that perception within the young people that the aging leaders are not ready to go, are not willing to go, when actually the aging leaders should be the ones encouraging the young leaders to take up those spaces, because of course it's biology. They will go, and it's an old adage. If you any success without a successor is failure. Have the leaders groomed the young leaders? Are they willing to give these young leaders space? Do you see it happening?
First of all, who groomed them? These leaders were there.
The old tax.
Who groomed them? Musari was minister at what age? 20 what?
About 23.
President Museveni was minister at what age?
I think 24 or 25.
Dr. Besigye, Mugisha Muntu was army chief at what age? I'm bringing the ones who are there.
Muntu was at 29.
Army chief. So who groomed them?
But that is what they are saying.
No,
the young people are saying.
I am asking the young people. These people you are dating to groom you, who groomed them? Why are you demanding from them what they don't have?
Yeah, but it is structural that even in political parties like NRM or elsewhere, they groom the young tax to take up from where the old tax stop.
Yeah, they don't groom them to push them out.
Like the DP had the Young Democrats, the ANC had the NC youth,
So
youth wing.
They're not grooming them to push them out. You see, again, it's this entitlementism I talk about. This thing you have to work for, my friend.
Haven't they worked for it?
Well, how? What they should show us. So, Otuke will go and stand now, and stand again, and stand again. That's you work for it like that.
Is the ground level? I mean, are they?
Who leveled it for these guys? You see, you are demanding of them Apollo, who turned me into a talk show host. I mean, a talk show panelist. I started off as a host, by the way, as you know. I'm a panelist. I don't apply. I don't make application to come here or any other media house.
We looked for you.
Absolutely. Means I struggled for this. So when you come and say, teach me how to be a talk show host, I am telling you struggle. That is the teaching I'm giving you. Ask me how to struggle. Ask me what I did. Maybe I don't even know it is applicable now.
Isn't that harsh? Are you not being brutal
but you
to
see,
these young people who need mentoring?
Being a chief of the armed forces is a brutal position. How many people want to assassinate you? To finish you off? This having soldiers around you all the time is not luxury. It's power and privilege. Power and privilege are not ceded like that. No, you go and struggle for it. You organize. You don't agonize. You don't spend all your time agonizing. That's what the young people are doing.
Oh.
You have to organize. You have to strategize. You have to sacrifice, including sacrificing your resources. We were talking about it, and we said you find people are on Bandari Rise. Yeah, give them money this evening. They will spend 3 nights on Bandari Rise and come out on Monday morning to put on a tie and go and work. In whose company? Of a gray-haired man. They look at the world. The world is not going to just hand over to you. The world is controlled by gray-haired or bald-headed men. It doesn't matter. In an academic institution, in a financial institution, in politics, in fashion, it is gray-haired or bald-headed men who hold the reins. And you think they are going to hand over them to you? By aspect of your age, that your age automatically qualifies you to the reins?
Yeah, but
I think that is not...
With a population of more than 70.
It doesn't matter. It is 70, not the population that expects to have these reins passed on to them. It is the smaller population that holds them. So how is this 75% organizing themselves? How are they strategizing? How are they uniting? What is their agenda?
Okay.
That's what will... How much are they prepared to sacrifice for this agenda? That's what will deliver them. Otherwise, it is fallacious. It is disingenuous. It is dreaming to expect that, you will have, okay, now you are 32, you are about to be 35 and leave youth age. Let's give you.
But Richard, I think you're being
realistic.
No,
yeah, I'm being honestly and brutally realistic and
brutally,
honest.
I mean dishonest to the young people.
No.
Because the aging leaders have had power for a very long time. They now wield the authority. They have the money. They have the jobs, and they can manipulate the young population.
And that's what they're doing.
And subdue their interests.
That's what I'm telling you, they keep doing
for their own interests.
Ask
and that is great.
Ask Otuke how many times he has stood. What age did he start? He's seated with me.
But why was he not made it?
Now that he's starting to get some gray in his head, he's going to make it. Those are the realities.
He's in the studio.
Those are the realities.
Okay, you can be testimony to this.
In his 20s.
You can be testimony to the huge power and authority the people in power have today. If they still really want power, I don't know how you can break the ceiling.
You see, that's why I said
politics has become so commercialized.
Because he's very honest. And yes, it is true, politics is very commercialized. And those that are controlling
and the youth don't have money.
And those that are controlling it would actually not want to leave it, and they will never leave it. They will never hand it over to you. You must fight for it. That's the reality. The first time I contested for MBA, I contested at 29 years. And I was contesting with a minister that was guarded with a convoy and with military. And everybody was wondering what was in my mind. But we were two in the race. And I can assure you that...
Was the ground level?
It is one of the elections. It may have not been leveled, because what is leveling the ground? Who will level it for you? Of course, you will have always election officials who will be biased because they have received money or something of the sort. You will also have policemen whom you will call to rescue you, and they will turn up after the rigging has happened. You will have all this, and nobody will actually correct them for you. And you have to find a way of organizing. What is important for young people is, first of all, the objective of your mission. And if your mission is very clear, that you want to help your people, you want to liberate them, you want to bring better leadership. For example, what was my driving factor when I was going to contest in the first time? We had seen politics of violence in my district, and nobody was coming out to challenge the status quo. No one was actually speaking about the people who were being beaten, those who had died, those who had broken their limbs. And some of us said, no, we cannot be part of this kind of politics. And we disagreed with the minister, now the Minister of Sports, and we said we cannot. So we decided to break away and said we cannot be part of this kind of politics. And we challenged him. Ideally, if he had played good politics, maybe he would have been unopposed in 2021. I came out to challenge him, and the rest is history. And I can assure you, it's one of the elections that everybody in Teso remembers. That a young man who had no money but was able to organize his people well, was able to give a minister a run for his money.
So it's about organization.
It's
how
about
you
organization
prepare.
and the messaging.
And the messaging.
You see, Katakwi is where I come from. I'm just giving this as an example. Katakwi is one of the districts that the Ministry of Energy had discovered that it's a mineral district, because we are at the border with Karamoja. So whatever minerals are in Karamoja are suspected to be in Katakwi. So I landed in 2 documents that including a report, a preliminary report, that was indicating a number of minerals that are suspected to be in Katakwi, and they were yet to do a second round of survey.
Yeah.
But when I went to my district, nobody knew, including district councillors. And I said, but how can we run government this way? That you have leaders who are not informing the community on what was happening. We had these, we had these planes, yellow planes from Geological Survey from Ministry of Energy, hoovering the whole skies of Katakwi, and everybody was scared, thinking government was surveying their land and wanted to take their land. And eventually I had to come out to start educating the community. So away from the violence, I had a message of the people. And I told them, the earlier we survey the land, the better. And that has been my message, that we must have proof of ownership of land, so that in the future, if government is able to confirm what minerals are in Katakwi as a district, we should be able to avoid situations where the mafias will come and grab people's land, and so on and so forth. Of course, there was also an issue of security in my district. We border Karamoja, but the issue of security has remained a very fundamental issue that affects the progress and transformation of the people. So the question of organizing, but also messaging. You must have a message that gives hope to the people, that when you come as a young leader, you'll be able to give them better and better alternative leadership that can be able to help them come out of the situations that they are in. So as a young person, before you first look at money, you must be clear on your messaging, but also your level of organization.
So as we continue to put pressure onto these aging leaders,
yes,
we have to also organize and,
very important,
and have a well-packaged message,
yes,
to the people.
Yes.
But a question to you is, are these leaders who wield power and influence really, I mean, shouldn't they also be helping the young leaders? Shouldn't they also think of the future, the posterity? For instance, in the NRM, as a party, if these old thugs are not mentoring the young thugs that would take over from them, doesn't that then in the end leave a void, leave a vacancy in the leadership? Isn't it detrimental to the future and posterity of any organization?
You see, at an individual level, it is very risky for leaders to mentor, because you are mentoring people who are coming to replace you. So across,
what's wrong?
I mean, so individually, at an individual level, we have leaders. I think I've forgotten his name, a doctor in West Nile, who was replaced by his PA.
In Parliament?
In the current Parliament.
Even here in Impigi,
yes,
by a personal assistant.
A personal assistant.
What's wrong?
I mean, you see, but it was not...
if it's the choice of the people...
It was not his choice that the PA comes to replace him. It was out of a disagreement that your personal assistant, whom you have mentored, comes to replace you. That is risky for leaders who still have interest to have grip on power.
Isn't that greed for power? Doesn't that demonstrate greed for power?
That's now what I wanted to come to. Ideally, at a formal level, all institutions, political parties, must have an arrangement for cadre identification, recruitment, training, and deployment.
Sure.
So any progressive organization, just like the CCM does, the ANC, have an institutional arrangement where they are able to identify.
You didn't mention
Otuko.
NRM. You mentioned the CCM and then
Yes, NRM, yes.
was it
It
deliberate?
is no longer as it used to be. I was a beneficiary of such an arrangement. In 2010, I was identified from the university, taken to Chankwanzi for 3 months.
What happened
From
later?
Chankwanzi, we performed very well. So the best students, I was among the best, I think best 10 students, were sent to Ethiopia, were sent to CCM, were sent to ANC, we were sent to CPC in China and Singapore. By the time we returned, we had already been given a deployment. Some went to public
Are
service.
those systems still in place? Those structures
That's what I'm
and
saying, that
mechanisms?
it's no longer as it used to be.
Yeah.
Why? Probably the style of management could have changed.
Not greed for power?
Not greed for power. It is an institutional challenge. It's an institutional challenge. But institutionally, every political party must be able to have an arrangement of identifying capable young people, either from institutions or from villages, give them opportunity, train them, and be able to raise them to become better leaders. That is the best formal way to raise leaders. But the senior leaders may not necessarily have that as part of the arrangement. Many young people, if you ask them about the leaders in their regions, they may have not even met them. I'll give you an example of myself. I was a youth leader for 15 years. I was the district NRM chairman for youth in Katakwi for 10 years. I was a secretary of finance of National District Youth Council for 5 years. But I have never met very senior leaders. As a youth leader, that we have had an opportunity to have an interaction with the national NRM vice chairperson Eastern, who comes from my region.
Honorable Captain Mike Mkula.
Yes, Honorable Captain Mike Mkula and others. That's why some of us have come out and said maybe he's not having the heart to mentor young people, and we are supporting a candidate that is challenging him. So the reality of the matter at the individual level, the political leaders have their own fears. So what happens in situations where political parties are not nurturing, are not mentoring, leaders must emerge. And that's why you find that across the world, there is emergence of young people coming to the center stage of politics,
but
to fight for their space.
Mentorship is important in grooming good leaders.
Yes, I agree. But in circumstances where mentorship is not mandatory, leaders must emerge.
All right.
And they must emerge in their communities to close the gaps that they have been able to see.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Augustine Otuke and Otuke, yes. Otuko.
Yes.
Augustine Otuko. And Otuko is the aspiring member of parliament for Ngariam County in Katakwe district. And he is currently the private secretary for President Museveni. Richard Baguma is a veteran journalist, now a political commentator, a very strong advocate for road safety. We'll be going for a break in 3 minutes, but quickly from you, Richard, isn't this unwillingness to mentor, unwillingness to support these young leaders, which is actually causing this resentment that we are seeing? And couldn't it be because the senior leaders are greedy?
In the United Nations Association, which I'm co-founder, the United Nations Association of Uganda, where I'm co-founder and part of the team that has been running it for long, one of the key things we do, perhaps the key thing we do, is to go looking and mentoring,
leaders,
young people in tertiary institutions, universities, colleges. The level of unwillingness to be mentored is one of the biggest barriers we find.
Oh.
Yes. So there is this assumption of good faith among the young people that they are willing to be mentored. One of the messages they really don't want to listen to is that one of investing time into something. They want the results now.
There and there.
Now. You tell them, no, wealth does not generally get built now. you invest in effort, time, thinking, and what. The other thing is position. Many don't want to hear you talking about investing, waiting, going through processes to get into positions. No, they want to get the instant gratification, instant results. And that it doesn't work like that. So one is this selfishness, you call it, or greed, or self-preservation.
On which side?
Of the people who hold positions.
Yeah.
And they don't want to go away. You will find them changing their age, their date of birth.
They are amending the dates of birth.
Yes. And they don't want to leave positions which have age limit. Or though, so you have all those, and they exist, and they are there. That they seem to be even more, in my view, because of the population structure that we have. Because you have many more younger people pushing for few positions. Because you have very many young people who want to come in, and there are very few positions. They are not increasing. So that also, so the push becomes more apparent and clearer. But also the young people, they are very few who have the patience, who have the resilience, who have the tenacity, who have the willingness to be mentored.
Thank you so much.
It's two-way.
It's time we go for a break. I'm sorry, Richard. You will
No, it's all right. It's all right.
Start from there when we come back from the break. We are looking at the current dynamics in politics and the general state of politics ahead of the 2026, reflecting on those events that stood out during the internal party processes and nominations for party flags, which is still ongoing. Let's go for a break. When we return, we'll be looking at your comments and observations, but still probing the general state of politics in Uganda. We'll go for a break. We'll return after this short while.